Merhaba arkadaşlar, Starfield'a kaldığımız yerden devam ediyoruz. Bu arada videoyu beğenmeyi, kanala abone olmayı ve bildirim çanını açmayı unutmayın. Gidelim.
Stay away from it.
Gidelim.
I'll head to my crew position.
All right, let's see what's out there.
Pumping retros. Orbit achieved. Stabilizing. Done.
Switching over to standard engines.
This is UC security. Preparing to be scanned for contraband. Scan complete. You are cleared to land at New Atlantis.
Şuraya inelim.
Captain, over here.
Geldim.
The workup's in the cabinet's hands. They said they'll call for us once they've gotten to properly review it.
Güzel.
But listen, I know I should have been more forthcoming about who I was earlier.
Bir şey mi saklıyorsun?
So, in the interest of full disclosure, there's one more thing you ought to know.
Söyle ne oldu, söyle ne oldu?
My relationship with the UC. It's more complicated than it might seem at first glance.
Yani
The UC's actually the only reason I'm here in the first place. I
klon
am a
mu?
clone of a man named Francois Sanon, one-time fleet admiral of the UC during the Colony War, former head of the UC Navy. They called him Ve Victus, woe to the defeated, in Old Earth Latin, a title he earned. The program I was a part of, it was the UC's attempt to create a new generation of military minds from one of their most respected tacticians. Secure the leadership of the UC military for generations to come. I'm getting there. The man I was cloned from, my father, was executed for acts he committed during the war. The man caused a lot of death on both sides. Freestar Collective and UC. Military and
Bayağı
civilian.
sağlıklı çıktı bu
And the things
ablamız.
he did, well, they're a part of the reason the UC and Freestar Collective aren't really on great terms to this day. So my involvement, it could be another obstacle they throw at us up there. I just wanted
Sağlık
you to
olsun
be
ya.
forewarned. I really appreciate you saying that. I just thought you deserved to know,
Eyvallah.
considering how much you've done already. You know, while we've got a second, was there anything else we needed to discuss? Or if you've got any last-minute business, no telling how long the cabinet's gonna keep us. Eye strain from the amount of reading I've got on the horizon if we succeed. The Terramorph project never went anywhere. It couldn't. They're deadly creatures, but they aren't xenoweapons. The cabinet not opening the archives is probably a bigger risk than them handing over the files. That data itself isn't dangerous, which probably wouldn't be a bad point for us to bring up, should the opportunity arise. Well, thinking about it more, I suspect there'd be value in sharing the fact that the Terramorph project was, well, a failure.
Anlaşıldı.
There's no need to be afraid of this data being weaponized. Knowing that should calm some of the cabinet's fears and make it easier for us to dispel any suspicions the other factions might have about our intentions. That's actually a souvenir from my time on Mars. The Red Devils unit I was a part of, they were founded by recruits who'd worked some of Mars' deepest mines. Folks used to adversity. The dust at those depths, it seeps into everything. The human eye included.
Anlıyorum.
Where the name Red Devils came from in the first place. It became an unwritten rite of passage that anyone wanting to enlist with the Devils had to do a stint in the mines before they could join up. The Devils were always talked about in such revered tones during my training, so as soon as I was old enough, I signed up. And the eyes were my parting gift. I mean, we never spent a lot of time together. He was too busy being Fleet Admiral to deal with kids. I was raised by a pair of guardians instead. Until his defeat during the Colony War, though, he was known as an extremely effective commander. Savvy, perceptive. That mind opened a lot of doors for him. And for me too. But Ve Victus, for all his ability, was heartless. Ruthless to a fault. In the end, that's what cost him his life. Then I guess it's just a map.
The cabinet meeting is about to begin. All parties, please proceed to the cabinet chambers.
Sounds like our cue.
Aynen bizi çağırıyorlar.
Ah, Captain. Congratulations on joining the ranks of the Vanguard.
Eyvallah. Geliyorsunuz mu? Ne taraftan? Vay vay vay. Konsey mi?
Ah, welcome. You must be the captain Hadrian mentioned in her report. You have our thanks for the risks you faced in securing this information. Well, I'll be sure your commanding officer hears that you've done them satisfactorily. Now then, we have two petitioners here making a surprising request. Access to the UC Xeno Warfare Team's Terramorph data, currently housed in the Armistice archives. A request which will require not just this body's agreement, but that of all three Armistice signatories. UC, Freestar Collective, and House Varun. Now, Captain, we've all read Hadrian's report on the subject, but we have yet to hear from you. Perhaps you could summarize for the Cabinet what it is you see as the goal of this endeavor.
That's quite the leap, Captain. Madam President, I object to the very premise of this meeting.
Yasin,
While
ne
no
yapıyorsun
one would
oğlum?
argue that what happened on Tau Ceti was anything less than a tragedy, Terramorph attacks are not some sudden new threat on the horizon. They've been happening for generations. To demand we hand over banned archival knowledge and possibly upset the balance of galactic diplomacy because of a single attack seems at best panic. And at worst, a power grab by the daughter of a bloodthirsty
Yasin.
warmonger and her associates.
Sen de
I would
bozuşuyorsun.
remind the chief diplomat who he's speaking to. If it's my father you're looking to address, you're welcome to consult a medium. I would also ask how many deaths the cabinet requires to act. 50? 50,000? Because if tragedies like Tau Ceti are just prelude to more attacks, I have no doubt you'll get the body count you require.
Let's keep this civil, shall we? And while there should be no doubt, the preservation of life stands paramount among this body's duties. Chief Yassine has a point. Will a single attack, however troubling, be sufficient to convince the other factions to grant us access to what they no doubt consider weapon data? I don't think it's enough. Perhaps you can help, Captain. As the one who actually collected the sample in question, did this terramorph seem at all alarming to you?
That is worth considering. This attack took place on an almost completely uninhabited world. The casualties were minimal as a result.
Aynen
But
öyle.
if there's another attack, will we be so lucky?
Komutan Logan.
Yes, a fine point, Admiral. So then, Captain, given the discussion now and the information you've been privy to thus far, if you were in our position,
Yes sir.
would you grant the request made to open the archives?
I'm uncomfortable opening the archives without gathering more information.
Tatlım yapma
However, if
böyle
that's the
aşkım.
path forward you prefer, then so be it.
I'm inclined to agree.
As am I.
I suppose that does get you
Yanlış
behind
karar
the
mı
point,
veriyoruz
doesn't
lan
it?
yoksa?
Very well. I consent. The galaxy was lucky you were here today, Captain.
Ha
You
Yasin
and I
şöyle o.
are in agreement, Chief Diplomat. So, if there are no other objections, I believe we can agree to give our full backing to make the request to...
Attention. An incident has
Ne oluyor lan?
occurred. Facility lockdown engaged.
Incident. Chief Sarkin, what's happening?
There's been an attack at the spaceport.
Bak dedim size.
Terramorphs.
Terramorphs. More attacks. Just as predicted.
Good God.
Ya
They're here, now.
There must
ne
be
oldu
another
tatlım,
explanation.
beğenmemiştin.
The creatures evaded our scanner somehow.
There will be plenty of time for conjecture later. Chief Sarkin, order the evacuation of the spaceport and have your men contain the things, but do it discreetly. The last thing we need is a citywide panic.
Yes, ma'am.
Admiral Logan, the local barracks can provide support?
I'll make the order myself.
Ne oldu? Ne oldu? Bana inanmıyordun.
Going to take a while to bring them in.
Well then, we'll have to make do with the tools we've got. You two, we can't risk those things getting out of the spaceport. I want you both on the next train there. We'll let them know you're coming and that you've dealt with these things before. Now go show them how it's done.
We're on it, ma'am. Captain, I'm right behind you. Let's get down there.
Dedim. Açılın, kaptanınız geldi.
You! The EM rifle, grab it! Now!
Stop! We're trying to help you!
That's it. Now hit him with everything you've got. What are you doing? EM fire, Captain.
Notch another one for me.
Thank God you got... Yeah, what the hell happened back there, Captain? There's no excuse for using lethal force here. Or you could have used the EM gun like you were ordered. These are live... Now, the way those people were acting.
I don't know. We tried to restrain them, get them on the... But some of the other officers down there, we couldn't restrain them fast.
Pheromonic projection. Some terramorphs, they can It affects everyone differently, but some people just lose control. You kill the morph, you break the hold. But this means we're gonna need to be real careful. I'm not suggesting. The result of the projection, though, can vary wildly. Some lose control altogether. Those cases, you'll either need to knock them out with EM. I honestly was just one. But no, you don't need to worry about me. I've had a terramorph try. So we'll just have to make... Let's do it.
Nat's unlocked. Please.
Ben nereden bulacağım EMP silahını ya? Var mı bizde EMP silahı? Yok ki EMP silahımız. Allah kusura bakma, EMP'miz yok. Nasıl derdiniz lan burayı? Oha.
Are you and this woman experts? Take whatever we can get right now. We've got the remaining creatures locked down on the landing pad. We're barely holding our perimeter. They said you've done this before. Well, one for our team to spare and whatever supplies you need. Put those things down and do it fast. We'll hold them as best we can.
You might be looking for some backup. You say the word, we're out.
You two have any experience with terramorphs before?
Only the brief they just gave on the way here. But we know how...
Surviving a full-on mental assault isn't the same as keeping your cool in a fight.
We're not UC security. Your call. We're on the line.
Bizim gemiyi patlatmadınız inşallah. Canın üstünde gereksiz şeyler var değil mi?
You might actually need that later, you know.
Target down. Nice work, Captain.
It's over. Thank God. If these things reached the populated areas of the city, we would have had an absolute massacre on our hands.
Certainly doesn't feel like it.
I don't want to think what would have happened if you...
Just glad we could rise to the occasion. Captain, we should report back to the President. Let her know the Terramorphs. Take care of yourself, Sergeant.
Hadi bakalım.
Attention. The spaceport has been secured. Safety precautions remain in place. Please wait for the all-clear signal before exiting your homes. That is all.
Nothing's getting to the captain.
That's a relief to hear. Thank
We're
Captain.
counting on you, Captain.
Hadrian,
Don't let my
it would
people
appear that the cabinet
sacrifice
owes you our
me.
thanks for what you did for the city today,
Aferin, şöyle olun.
as well as an apology. Your concerns about the Terramorphs, well, consider them validated.
Thank you, ma'am.
Of course. I only wish we could have acted sooner. Now, today's events have only clarified our path forward in the eyes of the Cabinet. You will have our full support in collecting the Terramorph data from the archives, as well as a subsequent investigation into the nature of these attacks. But to accomplish those goals, we're going to need the right people in the right places. As such, the Cabinet has authorized me to reinstate you, Hadrian,
Vay,
effective
süper.
immediately, to your former rank of Major. As soon as we've got the data in hand, we want you investigating these attacks and how to stop them. Will you do this?
Yes. Yes, ma'am. I'd be honored.
Excellent. But as you've both made clear, for such an investigation to succeed, first, we're going to need someone to convince the Freestar Collective and
da ben
House
oluyorum
Varun to
herhalde.
play ball. Someone who knows precisely the sorts of dangers the colonies and all the galaxy are facing right now. The Cabinet wants you, Captain, to be that representative. The Cabinet wants progress, and wants it quickly. You're already far more familiar with the situation than any diplomat would be. There's also no diplomat alive that can claim they helped keep a cadre of Terramorphs off the embassy doorsteps. The Cabinet was unanimous. They want you. We do. In exchange, we're willing to fast-track your citizenship upon collection of the data. So, will you help us? I'm glad to hear it. Now, we, of course, won't be sending you in without the proper support. Deputy McIntyre in the Office of Interstellar Affairs will be your guide on gaining access to the archives. You should be able to find her in her office across the hall. And on behalf of the whole of the United Colonies, you
Rica
have our
ederiz.
thanks.
Eyvallah.
Dismissed.
I'm gonna go check in with Chief Engineer Gorgü. Start getting a plan together for that data.
We didn't get where we are by sitting on our laurels. Our laurels, in fact, became uninhabitable.
Bir puan geldi. Evet. Bence burada bitirelim bölüm arkadaşlar. Bir sonraki bölüm kaldığımız yerden devam edeceğiz. Videoyu beğenmeyi, kanala abone olmayı ve bildirim çanını açmayı unutmayın. Bir sonraki bölüm görüşürüz. Bay bay.